Well, hey guys, I'm Lynn Hanson. I'm one of the pastors here at North Park Church. Really happy to be sharing with you in our life groups this week. And that's the final week of our Facebook Christian series, and we're, had a good time through the series. Had a lot of people talking to us about the things that they were getting out of it. And so it's kind of sad to close one of these series like this when we've really grown through it. But we've got another new series coming up here in a week, and we're starting it out, and it's called God Questions. And we get asked a lot of questions, that are just basic questions about why God does things the way that He does, or how do we know God exists, those kinds of things. And we're going to be talking about those for the next 4 weeks. But final installment of Facebook Christians. And our story this week is really a great example of how we should learn to value our time. So we're closing up with that idea. One of the things that Facebook is notorious for is wasting time. And so, it can really, we can easily miss our purpose in our lives just simply by wasting our time, right? So here's a story from Matthew 25, verses 14 to 30. And it goes like this. Again, the kingdom of heaven can be illustrated by the story of a man going on a long trip. He called together his servants and entrusted his money to them while he was gone. He gave 5 bags of silver to one, 2 bags of silver to another, and 1 bag of silver to the last, dividing it in proportion to their abilities. He then left on his trip. The servant who received the 5 bags of silver began to invest the money and earned 5 more. The servant with 2 bags of silver also went to work and earned 2 more. But the servant who had received the 1 bag of silver dug a hole in the ground and hid the master's money. After a long time, their master returned from his trip and called them to give an account of how they had used his money. The servant to whom he had entrusted 5 bags of silver came forward with 5 more and said, "Master, you gave me 5 bags of silver to invest, and I have earned 5 more." The master was full of praise. "Well done, my good and faithful servant. You've been faithful in handling this small amount, so now I will give you many more responsibilities. Let's celebrate together." The servant who had received the 2 bags of silver came forward and said, "Master, you gave me 2 bags of silver to invest, and I have earned 2 more." The master said, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in handling this small amount, so now I will give you many more responsibilities. Let's celebrate together." Then the servant with the 1 bag of silver came and said, "Master, I knew you were a harsh man, investing crops you didn't plant and gathering crops you didn't cultivate. I was afraid I would lose your money, so I hid it in the earth. Look, here is your money back." But the master replied, "You wicked and lazy servant, if you knew I harvested crops I didn't plant and gathered crops I didn't cultivate, why didn't you deposit my money in the bank? At least I could have gotten some interest on it." Then he ordered, "Take the money from the servant and give it to the one with 10 bags of silver. To those who use well what they are given, even more will be given, and they will have an abundance. But from those who do nothing, even what little they have will be taken away. Now throw this useless servant into the outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." All right, so go ahead and somebody in your group then retell that story as best you can. And there's a lot there, so just do the best you can with it. But everybody else, keep track of what they might have missed and rebuild the story. And together we're going to learn God's Word here and get it into our hearts and heads. Go ahead and do that, would you please? All right, here's some discussion questions. Question number 1. How do you see the topic of using time wisely brought out in this story? How do you see it in this story? Go ahead and just talk about how you see that issue in the story. All right, question number 2. Which servant do you identify with most in the story, and why? 3 servants there, right? So which one do you identify with most, and why do you identify with that one? Go ahead, talk about that, please. Okay, now you're letting the Spirit of God really be in your group and really be the teacher. in your group here. Question number 3 really gets into it. So here we go. What is your biggest time waster? What is the biggest time waster in your life? What's the number one challenge in using your time well? Go ahead and see where God leads you as you talk about that. All right, here's what I want you to think about, please. And again, let God's Spirit really lead you here. The servant in this, the master in the story gives each servant a bag of silver. What is that? What exactly is that bag of silver? I mean, is it really money? Question number 4. What has God given you, and how is He leading you to invest it? Okay? There's going to be a variety of answers here. That's okay. And go ahead and think about that and pray about it a minute. Let God lead you. What has God given you, and how is He leading you to invest it? Go ahead and talk about that, please. All right, last thing, question number 5. What is God saying to you about time and time management? Just what is God teaching you here overall? What's He saying to you about time and time management? Share that with your group. Please go ahead and dig deep on that one, and we'll finish up with that question. Well, God bless you, and I will see you soon.